is nice. Is that a speaker built into the seat?
Yes.
In the center of the seat.
That's exactly what this Impala badge right here actually is.
Yeah.
This wire meshing screen is the speaker grill, and that's your factory speaker right back there.
That is wild.
And I say factory. I mean, this has definitely been replaced at some point, but maybe in the 70s or the 80s. I mean, this is extremely archaic. This paper backing is, I mean, all things considered, it's actually not in the worst shape I've seen.
Right?
But I mean,
especially when you got monsters.
You saw, I mean, the wire nut install. I mean, that's just not something you do, especially with speakers like this. This ground wire is just screwed in plate, which is, you know, pretty common. That's fine, but it's not marked green or anything like it's supposed to be. Plus, there's a ground on the actual speaker itself that should be used for something that's not being utilized. Trying to determine the difference between rat's nest and seat cushion.
Right? That's going to retain a lot of odor as well. All that cushiony stuff.
Yeah, all this jute line.
Yeah, so you have to. Well, we talked to Kristen about from BioBombs about getting in here, and hopefully, you know, he's got a solution to the deep embedded odors into the cushioning.
We're going to run a complete ozone through it regardless of the top of the BioBomb.
Okay.
Nuke whatever's in this car. We will absolutely have taken care of.
Because I'm sure there's microbes and all kinds of nasties,
Absolutely.
Especially after mice and rats or whatever have been living in there.
And funny enough, a big part of what will help with that is just moving this out in the sun and letting those UVs do their thing.
Right.
I mean, that's a huge acceleration of time. It's just that open air exposure.
So at this point in the video, once again, our microphones died, and so everything that we're filming and recording is not getting captured. But what Ryan is pointing out in this particular video is just the amount of rat droppings and mice droppings that were living in these seats. We take the seats outside, and Ryan proceeds to try to remove as much loose debris as possible. He uses multiple tools throughout the process, the tornador, his air gun, even vacuuming, and then we leave it outside with some Typhon to dwell in the sun. And again, we're trying to eliminate as much of the odor as possible, eliminate as much of the nesting and loose areas that those odors can reside in, and probably even some areas where disease and bacteria can live and breed and just cause airborne illness to the occupants of this vehicle. When we went to rehab the bench seat and flipped it over, we found a factory build sheet, also known as the VIN build sheet or a VIN decoder. It's a document that contains information about the original configuration of a car, including the options and the equipment that were included when it was built. The build sheet also includes such details as paint color, upholstery, wheel design, engine size, transmission, production date, the axle code, and ratio. Build sheets were originally used during the assembly of a vehicle to communicate to workers what to install. After the vehicle was completed, they were usually discarded. However, there are sometimes found inside a car, such as this one. Usually they're like under the carpet, behind the door panels, or stuffed between springs of the seats, like this one we just found. Due to the historic nature of this car, this was a real treasure, and the owner requested that we get it framed. All right, so now this is the other panel of that seat.
So this is our back pad, not a back pad. I'm sorry. This is the seat itself, not the back pad.
The seat itself.
Yep. We pulled it off. Underneath here, we had a bunch of, as well as rat droppings, unfortunately, and contamination. Not really any bedding material, but some chewed up edges here. So we're doing the same exact thing. We're spreading Typhon liberally over top here underneath of this, and then we're going to come through the tornador, kind of push some of this Typhon into this packed foam and material to act as a contact odor neutralizer, as well as just get some of this debris that's causing this odor off of this pad before reinstalling and cleaning. Ideally, Aaron, we're not going to be throwing as much material at you this time, but even so, I'm still going to wear my mask again.
Yeah, you made it snow last time.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're looking to do. We just want to knock up all that loose stuff off of the material, because this loose padding and insulation is exactly what's been chewed on. So that's what's going to hold that odor. So now that we've kind of knocked that down, as well as forced Typhon into this jute and bedding material, we're going to take the good old-fashioned Milwaukee leaf blower and just bulk some of this stuff off of here. And then again, we're going to leave it out in the open air, let that just soak in, dry out, get that open air exposure, and then we're going to proceed with cleaning the actual leather itself. I'll put both those pieces up here and let that dry a bit. But it's perfect, because you can see, instead of this all being all loosey-goosey, all this is still part of that master material that's underneath of this padding here. So we're getting all that chewed stuff off there without A, deconstructing the seat, and B, putting in stuff that's filled with bacteria and mold and rat droppings and everything back into the client's vehicle. And that's it. We'll let that do its thing.
I think I got that one.
You prefer the eyeball method?
Yeah? What are you eyeballing?
It looks like the same color you've been doing.
Yeah.
Looks 10 to 1 to me.
Kraken.
Yeah.
You're making a Kraken solution to take on this bad boy. Woo. Man, that is 60 plus years of funk.
This is noticeably nastier than that front bench.
Rust stains.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more going on it. And
this is going to put the Kraken to the test.
and remember, this had that blanket over top of it. We don't know how long that blanket was on there for, man.
Yeah, I would say getting these seats out of that car made the car smell immediately better, because you can still smell.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And now that these are going to get clean, we'll be able to, again, letting it air out is one of the more important things. Because even with the biobomb treatment and running ozone through this car, I mean, that bench is sucked underneath stuff. You know, it's not the easiest piece to get exposure to. All right. Work out of the sun, because that bitch is hot. What we've been doing? We got the 10 to 1 Kraken and the pump foamer, or just. You can smell it the second it touches it.
Mm-hmm. it's already browning up.
And just smelling that, man. I mean, this Kraken is immediately reacting. It's honestly, it's an immediate smell of rat feces, rat pee, whatever that very specific odor is. You know, man. It's just the second the Kraken comes in contact with it, it's just lifting it right off of the seat. All right, now that's thoroughly on there. We're got that in the cracks. Please do. Now we're just gonna scrub. I'm gonna work from the back forward on this one.
Oh my gosh! Look at that.
I'm just gonna scrub.
Dude, you're
this.
barely putting any effort. You're not. Pushing,
No,
I can
it's
see
very
you're
very
not even
little
pushing
pressure.
down on the you're not even moving.
No, we're using very little pressure to do this because again, that's the whole point of using the air foamer and letting it saturate for a bit before you work it. We want the product itself to do the bulk of the work. And then, I mean, this is an extremely soft boy hair too. It's the fine bristle, whatever you like to call it. It's very soft. You can hear, you don't even hear the brushes itself scraping up against it. It's just the foam noise. And we're just using this as the agitator to kind of make sure we can push Kraken into these cracks and crevices.
Dirt just sloughing. Is that the word?
Slopping off.
That's wild. Boom. What is your APC doing?
Wet rag with no cleaner on it. And we're just going to start to remove the majority of this cleaner and the majority of this debris before we work onto the next stage with Typhon and the steamer.
Incredible. That's incredible.
And again, the great thing with using the Kraken and the foamer is the majority of the soil dirt is on the floor already.
Right. Dude, it looks like a brand new seat.
Absolutely.
It
And
looks
again,
like a brand new
this
seat.
is just stage one, man.
I know,
mean, just using a little bit of Kraken and the APC. And again, when I say a little bit, I mean 10 to 1. I mean, that's literally the base of what you would utilize this for. And this is old leather. It's extremely, I mean, this leather is in great shape. I'll give it that. But this is old. It's archaic. It's highly reactive. And Kraken is totally safe enough to just throw right on top of there, right? Exactly as we do.
What's next? What's next?
Well, so now since we've done our base Kraken cleaning, we've got the majority of the dirt slopped off of here. We're going to go into the Typhon and the actual detail brush. And again, we're going to liberally, there we go, we're going to liberally spray this down.
10 to 1, Typhon.
10 to 1 Typhon going directly over top of this pre-cleaned with Kraken back bench seat. And again, when I say liberally, we can just keep spraying it. It doesn't matter if it's drying a little bit as we're going. Typhon's 100% interior friendly. Then we're going to come back in on our detail brush, back spray the brush itself. And now we're just going to work this into all these tighter cracks and crevices with the detail brush.
seeing, I mean, they're immediately turning white again.
Absolutely, man. Again, the whole point of using the Typhon in this step is A, to be a little bit more precise. Our first stage of cleaning with the Kraken is just to get as much of it off as efficiently as possible so we can do our deeper cleaning now with Typhon, which again has that just natural, beautiful, oil-free, streak-free, grease and grime-free sheen to it. It just really brings out the natural color that this is supposed to be, all without affecting these old dyes and everything. I really just love how much Typhon foams up on its own with just the agitation from the brush. It's a really good way of seeing where you're working. You know, you can make sure you're not missing spots as you're streaking past it and everything like that. And even so, I mean, this has been a while since we brushed it. You can still tell it's still got that nice high dense foam.
Yep.
Perfect. And then now that we've done that, we're going to come through with the steamer and steam the cleaner and steam these cracks and crevices right off here. Enough, you know?
All right. Yeah, so, what? 2024 minus 1968 is 58. 50, so it's 58-year-old leather.
And I mean,
and who knows how long it's been.
If we just go by the average use of someone's vehicle, you can expect 10 to 15. You know, I mean, these, not that these cars were throwaways, but cars were a significantly cheaper purchase back then. So it was a lot easier to justify getting a new one every 10 years. And now while this cleaner is still on there, we're steaming these cracks and crevices to start. And what we want to do is push that cleaner down and out. Now we've essentially got this part done. So we're going to come through, meet that in the middle. Again, we're just pushing down and out, letting it naturally flow down exactly where it wants to. Then we're going to divide this part of this bench in half. Now we're going to come through with just our clean, dry rag and just wipe off the majority of this. We're going to wipe this dry, wipe off some of this debris, make sure we get through these cracks and crevices. We're just kind of removing, you know, again, all this cleaner, all this steam, making sure we got a nice clean surface to work with for our final step.
Truly remarkable.
And again, to most people, this would be what you would consider a final step. So it already looks absolutely fabulous.
It's truly remarkable.
But we're fighting a multi-tiered battle here. We're not looking just for clean. You know, there are very obvious biohazard issues with this vehicle in particular. So it does require that little extra oomph of chemistry at the end.
It's amazing. Same seat. Exact same seat.
Yep, and this is just the that foam step with the Kraken, boar's hair brush, and then we come back in with a Typhon and a detail brush, work that all in, then we work it with the steamer, and then we just wipe it dry. And again, just that natural sheen is great, but there's no stickiness, no sloppy, no greasy, no nothing. It's perfect.
All right, where are we at? We're on the. This is the back seat.
Yep.
Right?
So we got the backrest here, equally as messed up, and here we also have this hidden speaker grill, which is some really intricate cut holes in this aluminum sheeting. We're gonna have to clean as well. And then again, we're just gonna start as we've been doing. We're gonna take Kraken 10-to-1, right in the foamer, directly on the surface.
And you don't even care about it getting on the metal or the electronics?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And then again, that speaker, I'm working on the operation and it doesn't work anyway, but I'm sure this isn't going to hurt it whatsoever. And we went back in there and we saw that speaker's very well protected. But it's crucial to let Kraken slip into all those cracks and crevices that has so it can chemically do the job instead of manual labor going through that. And again, same thing as working on that seat pad. It's that odor. It's just immediately being ripped out of this leather. We need a smell vision.
Yeah, right. And then if you look at the final goods over there, it has no scent whatsoever. I mean, you eliminated all of that.
Yeah, and
it's
it's
perfect clean, perfect smell.
No chemical odor to it at all. It's just clean, nice and clean. Then again, we're going to just liberally put this on here.
I mean, you can already see it.
And we got it. Really, it's really dripping down there.
It's already coming off, and you haven't even hit it with a brush. That's wild.
And again, the point of using the foamer with Kraken in this is we're keeping down the atomization. We have more product going directly onto the surface, and we want to let that foam seep and bleed and move into and form into these old stitches, the piping, all the cracks and crevices of this seat. This is doing something funky right here, man.
Right.
As soon as we hit this with a brush, that's going to light up like crazy. That's what we're going to do now. We got we just rinsed off our brush from our last part of the seat. Come in, back foam it. We do this to reduce friction. We're going to hop right on the center because that looks juicy. Oh, yeah. And you can just see it. We're just ripping it all off. And again, same thing. Not a lot of pressure. We're not forcing it. The product is doing the job. All we're doing is allowing the agitation to penetrate deeper into that dirt and grime.
My friend Titan Tim, who's helped with product development as well, he says that you're always got to be looking for that you have to have moment. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to an all-purpose cleaner, you have to have this. Look, zero effort.
And I think something, when we say all-purpose cleaner, we're not talking a soap solution. The Kraken is truly an all-purpose cleaner. And as we've shown throughout working on this, we've used Kraken to up the pH of Apex Auto Wash for a more heavier grime removal. We've used the same product to remove baked in oil off of that engine bay. We've used this product on the headliner without having any worry about the adhesive. We're using it now on this archaic leather, again, not with a worry in the world. It truly is an all-purpose cleaner. It's one of those products that, aside from polishing paint, man, there's nothing the Kraken can't really do. There's a reason why we keep this in the shop in a 55-gallon drum.
That's true.
That's like I was telling you yesterday, man. I don't go a day, even when I'm not working, where we don't use Kraken. I come home, the wife's literally cleaning up pasta sauce off the stove with Kraken.
Wow. Yeah, and it is so versatile with that. And as you can see, even on metal or 58-year-old leather, it's as gentle as it needs to be, but as tough on grime as you need it to
Oh yeah, we're just bleeding all over these freshly cleaned floors. All right, and then same thing again. We're just taking a wet rag over this just scrubbed Kraken, and we're just going to use this wet rag to help remove the plethora of cleaner and get the topsoil debris right off the surface before we come in with our second step.
I would say most detailers would say this is already
And when you're talking the average vehicle, it doesn't really require that additional step. Again, we're talking about grease and grime and mold and mildew. That we're not just attacking this visually. We have to keep chemical mindset. We're attacking the biohazard. I mean, the worst thing you can do is spend all this labor doing this, and the guy parks in his garage, and a week later he's got mold growth all over again. So we're attacking this on different levels than the average car requires.
Sure, and then that's what the steamer helps with, making sure that it sterilizes the surface of
Absolutely.
all those spores and whatnot. Yeah, no, but this truly is remarkable. Truly remarkable.
And now that we've removed that, man, it's just right back in the rhythm.
Right.
We're coming again with Typhon in our secondary container and our detail brush, and we're just again liberally going to spray this. Same thing. I have zero concerns about these electronics. A, they're unplugged. We got no current going through them. And B, these metal gills. Oh man, Kraken did just a fantastic job just getting that pulled up as it is.
Right.
Same thing with that front seat, man. I mean, that stitching is back to life. That was black before we started this. And we'll come back in, back spray the detail brush. And now we're going to focus on these tighter to reach gullies and nips and cracks and just go through and work this product in. And as we come around here, this is a spot where it's pretty much all detail brush work, but because Kraken, we put on that foam and allowed it to dwell, I mean, it literally just kind of ripped off the majority of that dirt as it was for us. You can also see that Kraken pulled off that green oxidation that was on the stainless chrome, whatever you'd like to call this. I mean, it's got it off the steel grill and it's got it off the actual chrome lip and everything. The Impala sign no longer has that algae buildup on it. And that's it. We just work it in. We're going to let that dwell for a second, and then we're going to come in with the steamer. All right, so now that we've allowed Typhon to dwell a little bit after doing that brush process, we're going to come with the steam. And again, same thing, we're going to push it into these cracks and crevices, working naturally, letting the cleaner kind of come down these drip rails, as we're going to call them in this notion. And that's going to help remove the rest of this product, as well as blow out that dirt and debris. And Typhon really is a great product to use this for, because steam, different materials react differently to steam. It's one of the more universally accepted safe options, but Typhon, being all surface safe as a chemical, kind of gives that steam that buffer zone. We are able to activate the heat and the pressure without worrying about roaching or torching anything, because that Typhon does that natural heat dissipation.
And now you know.
So I just love seeing that stitching come back to life.
That's remarkable. I mean, these were black, dude. You couldn't see those before.
No, not at all. You can see them once Kraken starts to work in there, but the stitching really comes out after you've worked Typhon into that surface.
Hey, close, man. You know what that means?
That should be the
Biobomb.
biobombs. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Down to the last minute detail. Perfect. Yeah, then that's that final product. Again, same thing, man. Nice and sleek. No grease or grime. I really love showcasing how Kraken. I mean, this didn't go through any sort of metal polishing process. This was strictly using that all-purpose cleaner. And the real great thing about that is this is clean, and this still has its original patina to it. This isn't refinished. This isn't polished. This isn't painted. This is just exactly how this looks, being clean and sanitized.
Wow, absolutely wild. I can't believe this is the same thing.
And same thing with these silver pieces around these bolster. I mean, they look fantastic.
Can't believe that this seat is older than me.
Yeah, I mean, this seat's archaic, man. And it's original, too. We've had it off. We can see this is an original seat. I mean, that car doesn't have high mileage, but it doesn't have no mileage, you know?